Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I have a couple of quick updates that I wanted to share before I head back to Germany. I'm going back to Germany in just a couple of days to do a couple of follow-up procedures from when I was there back in fall. If you saw my last video, I talked a little bit about what I will be doing there with some cavitation procedures and getting a permanent crown put on the implanted front tooth that I got back in October. So before I head out there and do all of those things, I do have a couple of things that have come up just over the past few weeks that I wanted to update you guys on now. I mentioned in my last video that I was going to be going back to my orthodontist and coming up with a plan for what we needed to do moving forward because my teeth have shifted a little bit since getting the braces off. And what we decided to do was just really to give it a little bit more time. She just said that with everything that I've had done over the past, year and a half, 2 years, that giving everything a little more time to settle and kind of not rushing into trying to fix things too quickly, she felt like was the best way to go right now. And even though I'm kind of impatient to be finished with all of this and to kind of like get my bite perfect or whatever, I do really appreciate that she is realizing, kind of everything that has been going on and sort of how much work has been done on my mouth and my teeth. And I do ultimately agree with her that just giving that more time and not trying to fix things too quickly and potentially like create more problems or just letting everything settle a little bit more is probably the best plan of action. So what we're going to do is just leave everything be for now, get this permanent crown put on my front tooth and get the cavitations done, let everything really heal, and then the plan is just to check back kind of more towards the end of the year. So it was like 9 months from when I last saw her a couple of weeks ago. So sometime in November, I'll go back, check in, we'll see where everything is at, and if we want to do a little more work at that point, we'll just use Invisalign, potentially to do a little bit of expansion, just because I did have teeth pulled when I was younger, and maybe creating a little bit more space can help everything align a little bit better and just feel a little more comfortable for me. But we haven't really made any firm decisions on that. So like she said, we'll just kind of give everything a little bit longer to heal and to settle, see if anything changes between now and the end of the year, and then decide what we want to do from there. While I was at the orthodontist, we did also do some updated photos, which was kind of exciting. I haven't had photos done in a while. I think maybe we did some when I got the braces off, right after I got the braces off. And so we did some updated photos, and I just thought it was kind of cool to be able to look back at the original photos that I had from when I first went to see her before I even got the braces on and got any of this started, and really see how big of a difference there was like pre and post jaw surgery, and then with all the additional orthodontic treatment and kind of where things are at now. That said, obviously my bite is not perfect at this point on that left side where things have not totally closed down. Partly that's because I have one tooth that I wore down pretty badly with my previous bite. But other than that, it still was kind of fun to see that big difference and really be able to compare the previous photos from the very beginning of this whole journey to where I'm at now. So the other update that I alluded to a little bit in my previous video as well is plate removal. I did ultimately decide that I am going to have the rest of the plates removed from my jaw. So I still have the plates in my upper jaw that kind of go right up alongside the nose. And then I also have a plate in my chin. And a couple of reasons why I decided to do this. For one, I've just been learning more and more about the potential side effects or sort of long-term consequences of having metal in your body, and maybe especially in your face. And just, it sort of made me think about it more. It's just been on my mind a lot that I don't feel super comfortable having metal in my body. And so just knowing that that was going to be a little bit of a stressor, even just mentally, even if physically I may not be having a huge reaction to it, I think just knowing that mentally that's going to be something that I'm thinking about. If I don't do it, that was one big reason to decide to move forward with this. I also had a couple other experiences with metal that has been removed and noticing a big difference. So one being when I got my braces off. I can't remember if I talked about this in a previous video or not, but if I'm repeating myself, sorry. But when I got towards the end of having my braces, the last few months that I had the braces on, I had suddenly noticed a really big increase like in body pain. I just had joint aches all over. I was really, really fatigued, more so than normal for me. And I just felt really not good. And I could not figure out what was causing this noticeable difference in my symptoms. And when I got my braces off, literally within a couple of hours of getting those braces off, all that pain and discomfort went away. It was night and day difference by the end of that day getting the braces off, which was really surprising to me. I had no idea that those braces could be causing that problem. And my guess is that it was kind of the accumulation over time, that at that point I had had the braces for almost 2 years, and it probably was just starting to affect me more at that point. And that's why I was getting those symptoms. But that also just kind of like planted that seed in my mind of like, maybe my body really doesn't like these metals or having that in my mouth, and maybe it would be best to have the plates removed. The other thing that happened was about a year ago, I broke my wrist and I had a metal plate or titanium plate put into my wrist. And a similar story there. I got to about 9 months post-op from that, and my wrist was still really bothering me. By that point, it should have been well healed and not a problem anymore, but I was still getting a lot of pain. I had a lot of restriction in my left arm and my left shoulder, and even had some pain and tension like all the way down the left side of my body. And went back to my surgeon, kind of explained what was going on. And that in that case, it's a very easy procedure to get that taken out, especially because it had only been, 9 months or so since I had had it put in. So opted to have that removed as well. Same thing there. As soon as I got that out, a lot of my symptoms went away. And over the last few weeks, since that has really healed, all of the symptoms have gone away. My wrist doesn't bother me anymore. I have way more range of motion and less tension in my left arm and shoulder and all the way down the left side of my body. So that, again, just another signal for me that I don't think my body particularly loves having those metal implants. So did decide to go ahead and schedule a procedure to have the rest of those plates removed from my jaw. That will be happening at the end of May. That was the earliest I could get back in with my surgeon in Spain to have that done. So I'm a little bit, I wouldn't say worried about it, but it's a little bit more maybe stressful this time around, just because it will have been about a year and a half since my jaw surgery, which is longer than they prefer to wait to take those plates out. I'm hoping it will still be a fairly easy procedure or not too hard to get those out. But it makes me a little more concerned about potential side effects. But I do really trust my surgeon, and I think that ultimately in the long run, this is going to be the right thing for me to do, and that I am willing to take some of those risks to have that done. So those are my 2 quick updates for today. The orthodontics, just going to put that on hold until the end of the year to check back in and see if we want to do any future work there. And then getting the rest of these plates removed, having that scheduled for the end of May. I will be going back to Spain to my surgeon there to have that done. And of course, we'll be documenting that process as well as my upcoming trip to Germany and everything that goes on there. So that will be the next video, will be my post-Germany situation recap. We will see what happens there and how everything goes. So you can look for that video in a few weeks. And as always, thank you so much for watching and for following along with me on this journey. Keep leaving comments or questions below. I have heard from a lot of you about your own experiences with this, and I always appreciate hearing what other people have to share. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel down below if you want to know when new videos come out. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.